Welcome to Bird Dog Politics. I'm BDP. Today's episode, a flash flood in Texas and dead children. Some of us saw this coming. Russell Vought, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, close ties to the Heritage Foundation, said, when it comes to federal employees, we want to make their lives a living hell. We want them to be miserable. We want them to hate coming to work. That way they'll quit and we can install some lackeys. They watch the training videos, get indoctrinated right. These jobs are easy, any dipshit can do them. So we fired meteorologists, scientists, climate scientists. And now we're saying, how could we possibly have known that the weather was going to do this, that the river was going to do this, that the flooding would cause so much pain? People who understand that federal employees are not enemies. Anytime a job comes open at the courthouse or at the health department, everyone in town applies for it. Whoever gets it, we say, wow, congratulations, that's a good job. Steady hours, decent pay. You're not going into it for the money. We always say that. But you get your holidays, you get benefits, you get a very regular schedule. And so working for the government is kind of one of the better jobs here in the Northwoods. So I don't understand how Elon Musk can say, well, we can save trillions of dollars. All we got to do is fire people. We don't need so many weather satellites working. We can cut the electricity. We can cut the Wi-Fi, whatever it is. We don't need people at those desks. AI can do it eventually. I read parts of Project 2025, the 1,000-page handbook. That was last summer's reading. I think this summer's reading will be the Big Beautiful Bill to try to figure out what the hell we're getting into. But if I remember correctly, it is the goal of the Heritage Foundation to make weather and weather forecasting a subscription service. If you don't pay in, you can't find out the weather. Unless someone cool on your Facebook pays for the weather and then shares it out. I mean, I guess that's one workaround. Give it the old Netflix password special. But they want the weather forecasting to be a subscription. These people will try to put a profit margin on everything. They've privatized our healthcare. Someone gets sick, someone gets cancer. There are people in this country who say, I can make a lot of money off of someone with cancer. They privatized healthcare. It's disgusting. They privatized education. Curious little kids say, why is the sky blue? How did that rainbow form? What is this bug doing? Someone out there said, I can make a lot of money off these kids' curiosity. Private education. Booksellers. Big corporate. I don't live that way. That stinks in my Christian heart. I have no desire to make a profit off of someone's diabetes. I have no desire to make profit off of a child's curiosity or off the weather forecasting. National Weather Service, that should continue to be free and fully staffed because American lives are at stake. We saw this coming last year, just like we saw the Trump recession coming last year. We know they want to fire the experts. We know they want to replace them with lackeys. And now it has had deadly consequences. How do we fix it? President Trump's got to go. Doge has to go. Project 2025 mentality has to go. We're a community. We have to take care of each other. I have one blueberry bush alongside my house. That's not going to feed my family. I need farmers. I need butchers. I need food producers. And the parents in my community need me to teach so that they can go to work, so that their children get smarter, so that we never get food like this again. Because holy cow, every day I go to work and I teach young people how to read. What does this say? 23 Nobel Prize winning economists issue statement that Trump's economic proposals will cause a recession. Class, what does this mean? If Nobel Prize winning economists have discovered that President Trump's plan is going to plunge us into recession? Fake news. It's not. I showed a science video one time and someone had poured water into a speaker and then started the bass going. Fourth grader tells me, that's not science, that's Photoshop. Yeah. I happen to know how his mother voted. Not sure if their family relies on Medicaid. I sure hope not. That would be terrible. So that's the mission. I go to school and I teach kids how to read, how to analyze, how to not get fooled. But clearly it's not going well. Test scores are low. Test scores are always low. Sometimes I think we set those scores way too high. You ask a 9-year-old to read an informational article about honeybees and how they dance. And then you ask them to read a fantasy in which a bee talks instead of dancing. And then you have to write an essay citing facts from the article and details from the fantasy story into a concise, well-written essay. When you're 9 years old, that's absurd. 9-year-olds can't read. 9-year-olds can't do that. Grown-ups can't do that. It's a very specific skill. I've been going through letters training, and it's been, in the first year, it talks about how reading is not the most natural skill. We've had centuries of speaking and very little time reading. So that's the job. And now we've got AI and deep fakes, misinformation and propaganda. It's going to get tougher and tougher. But we do know this. We know that the National Weather Service serves an important role in this country and should be fully funded, fully staffed, ready to go. It's hurricane season, it's flood season. Come December, January, February, it'll be blizzard season up here in the Northwoods. I would like to know how dangerous the roads will be for my morning commute. I think I deserve that. And I think America has enough money to fund the National Weather Service, to fund NOAA, and to keep us safe and informed. Don't tell me there's no money. We got money for bombs. We just gave a whole bunch of money to billionaires. Blew up the deficit, 3-something trillion, and we're giving away money. It's not the way to do it. When I look at my checking account and I see there's not much money in it, and I hear someone say this is the richest, greatest country in the world, it doesn't feel like it. And it makes people upset. In other news, Donald Trump has illegally withheld federal funding for schools. After school programs, he's not releasing those funds. Sorry. We have a couple people who work an after school program. That must be closed down. Boy, I bet the families that count on after school programming sure knew better than to vote for Donald Trump. And if they didn't, that's a damn shame, because their responsibility was to figure out what Donald Trump's proposals would be and how his presidency would impact their lives. He also cut funding for teacher training. So there's supposed to be a literacy specialist coming up from Texas to the Northwoods. Can we no longer afford to pay her because of this choice Donald Trump made? I don't know. Maybe. Plenty of money, for ICE. 16 times more money, 16 times more agents, more prisons, more concentration camps. Why are we selling merch that says Alligator Alcatraz? That's disgusting. Was there merch for Auschwitz? Unacceptable. But that's where we're at. And I don't know how we fix it. Who steps up and says this is wrong? Mom Donnie's too young and too new. Chris Murphy, Eric Swalwell. Bernie. Someone's got to step up and say President Trump and President Vance are not doing the people's work. They are living more like kings and more like dictators and having secret police. And their secret police has a bigger budget than the Marines. We can't live like this. And it's hard because in the Northwoods, very little changes. Same side-by-sides go down the street as before, same golf carts, same cars, same trucks, same kids on bikes. We don't have ice, we don't have flooding, we don't have hurricanes. So far so good, but I do wonder when our time comes, what will that look like for my community? What tragedy will hit my community that's completely optional? Donald Trump's choice, Elon Musk's choice. Government is wasteful. Of course it's wasteful. You know how much money we give to big oil? They don't need subsidies. You know how much we spend on missiles, bombs, planes? That's where the waste is. The waste isn't in weather forecasting. The waste isn't in Head Start. The waste isn't in USAID. Bringing food to other countries and saying, this is from America. You look hungry. God bless. Eat up. Isn't it Iron Man 2 where the guy's a little boy and his father gets murdered by Americans and he goes on his death to America life cycle? USAID tries to prevent that sort of thing. Here, eat. America has provided you with food. It saves lives. It's good, humble Christian work. Or just good work if you're not a Christian. Sometimes I think I'm one of the last. Church was great yesterday. You reap what you sow. We made some tough choices, America. We got so angry and so upset, blinded by rage, that we listened when a liar said, someone else is going to put us into war. Someone else is going to cause a recession. Someone else is going to devastate this country. We listened to that liar, and he sounded angry and we were angry. So he sounded like us. But arresting housemaids at the hotel, they don't have all my money. Arresting berry pickers at a farm, they don't have all my money. Why didn't you arrest their bosses, their employers? Oh, because Donald Trump's new proposal is we won't detain, kidnap with our ICE agents workers. We're going to create something called owner responsibility. Sign up to be an owner, and these illegal immigrants won't be detained by ICE. They'll be your responsibility. So then you tell those immigrants, you stay by me and you do what I say, and I won't let you get detained. Owner of a person. If you leave your owner, you get arrested. Did Donald Trump just propose slavery? What are we doing, America? This is not good. And so far, Democrats say, we'll take it back in 2026. Are you kidding me? Kamala Harris got 0 votes in a New York precinct in 2024. Absolute, this many votes. You think 2026 elections are going to do anything other than what Putin is used to? Anything other than what she is used to? We're about to have single party rule. You thought elections were rigged last year, and they weren't. They were safe. Just kidding. Elon took care of Pennsylvania. 2020, they were safe. Even Steve Bannon, even Trump's head said the 2020 election was safe and secure. Donald Trump's ideas were not as popular as Joe Biden's ideas. Joe Biden gave us a safe landing from the pandemic, rescued the economy. Now the economy is contracting. People have less money than ever. Average people. Billionaires, richer and richer. Corporate profits, sky high. Never been better. But the people have less. It's almost time for another Trump stimulus check. But how will we pay for it? We're already running the deficit up, the debt up. Tax cuts for billionaires. How could we possibly do a Trump stimulus check to save these families that are going underwater because of the disastrous Trump economy? We shall see. And I'm very worried that the midterms will be rigged and we'll have single party rule just like Russia, just like China, just like North Korea. Unless somebody really steps up. The No Kings protests are nice. They're not big enough yet. We probably need to protest Donald Trump directly. Did Iowa protest when Donald Trump was there this weekend? I hope so. Iowa, we're counting on you. Pardon my stutter. Did I make it through a whole episode without swearing? I'm absolutely trying not to swear. So that's the news. The flood, the big beautiful bill, people are poor. On the personal side, I just processed my own chicken from birth to dinner plate. This is a long, busy weekend. Props to our butchers who can handle that sort of thing. And today is my 1-year anniversary of sobriety from alcohol. So I'm going to go on Blue Sky and Reddit. I'm going to post some pictures. One thirst trap. My wife said I had permission to post. And try to get some attention. Because I really, really think we need more progressive voices. BTC tells me so. PodSave tells me so. I got to figure out how to link up with those guys. Crooked Media, Inequality Media. Something great. For now, just doing it solo on my own. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, share, all the above. I'll see you tomorrow.